I was wrong. I recently posted a video of me crashing my DJI FPV drone due to the fact that I thought that I just screwed up and couldn't raise it in time or stop in time to not hit the mountainside. And that is what I was wrong about. That is not actually what happened. So I thought I'd make a new video now that I've had more time to analyze it, talk to other people, go back and forth and show you guys what exactly happened that day that I crashed my DJI FPV drone. Now when you first see this crash, it looks like that I just didn't pull up, I didn't hit accelerate, I didn't stop it in time. But when I go back and I look at the footage from the goggles, as well as look at footage from other flights that I've had so far with this thing, and it tells me a totally different story. So if you own this, be aware that if you lose connection or it just completely goes out on you, the drone wants to kick into Ebrake. And that's exactly what happened on this flight. As I'm flying around and I'm getting closer and closer to that hillside, my signal was fine until I went over that hillside and I broke connection to the goggles. What that means is that in the goggles themselves, it completely went black. And when it's black, or you lose connection, the drone tends to kick into a stop, a fail-safe mode. It puts on its brakes. And when it does that, it drops a little bit in altitude as it throws itself to try and stop as quickly as possible. Now in my case, there just happened to be a bush in the way. When it put that e-brake on, it hit the bush, and as you can see, the rest is history.
Ha 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 ha. It's like in a crater.
If we watch it through the goggle mode, you notice it goes straight black. We don't actually see it crash. It does show the failsafe kick on and the drone kick in sideways like that, and at that point, I no longer have control. When the emergency brake on the DJI FPV kicks in, your sticks are pretty much non-functional, and if you can't see what you're doing because everything went black, that's it. You just don't know what's happening anyway. Even if you had control of your sticks, you wouldn't be able to do anything. And it was still my fault, even though the e-brake did kick on, because I went to a point up and over a ridge where I should have known in my head that the signal for this was gonna get cut off. Obviously, I wasn't paying enough attention to all the things. Obviously, I wasn't paying enough attention to my signal bars in the goggles. I do wish that DJI would update this in the future at some point, so when the signal on the goggle or the controller starts to deplete and get weaker, maybe make something flash bigger in the screen, like a yellow, hey, your signal's getting a little... But again, in my case, that wouldn't have helped because it went from having a strong signal to over that mountain ridge and poof, and that was it. The signal for the goggles couldn't handle it. A lot of people ask me, why didn't you just use turtle mode? Why didn't you just flip it over?
It just doesn't work. I've got everything set up for turtle mode. It doesn't come set up for turtle mode. I've got the C1 button, one click should be turtle mode, but nothing. Just keep saying turtle mode not required, where it's upside down. You see it, it's upside down, it's required.
You have to actually have signal to your goggles to be able to do anything and have control of your drone, obviously. In my case, I had none because of where I was. The goggles stayed black. You're supposed to be able to use it if you have everything set up in full manual mode with even the attitude limit turned off. However, for my DJI FPV drone, I cannot get turtle mode to work at all.
I love that sound. This is my first flight with it. Not my first test, but my first actual flight with it since the crash. Turtle mode isn't working for me. I've been trying again and again to get that thing to work. Well, it sounds like my girlfriend just ran over something into my car. It takes a minute for it to all connect to each other. So when you're in sports, normal, it sticks together, just like a normal DJI drone. Motor's just starting. You don't have to even have the goggles on. You could just take it off. So far, so good. It seems to be working. We're just gonna go this way. Yeah, it's actually really easy to hand catch because that battery sticks out way lower than the props. Turtle mode not required. It's upside down. Everything's in manual. Whoa. So you can start the motor upside down. Beeping works. Turtle mode not required.
A lot of people say you don't even need turtle mode because if you crash it, the thing's destroyed. My guess is they haven't seen my other video or this one, because I crashed pretty darn good and mine's in one solid piece. I've been flying it with no problems ever since. Since the crash, I've recalibrated the IMU, I've recalibrated the compass, and done a reset actually on everything on the drone, and then reset it up to the parameters that I like to fly with. I do have a lot of videos I'm working on with this drone to come soon, so if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss those, and if you want to show some support for the channel, I've got a new design on shirts and hoodies that encompasses everything I feel I do on this channel. Yeah, see the little mountains and the little drone flying over the mountains on a nice sunny day? If that doesn't bring all my drone guys and snowboard mountain lover guys together with one image, I don't know what will. And as always, remember, if you do get any stickers or any merch like these shirts, make sure you tag me on Instagram or Twitter at that handle there so I can share your pictures in an upcoming video. I appreciate all the comments on the other video, and I hope this clears up what actually happened. It was still my fault. I should have paid attention to my signal. I should have realized that my signal would cut once I went over that ridge. And if it cuts, the Ebrake kicks on. I really hope this answers some of your questions on what actually happened in my crash, and it prevents you from having the same issue. Keep in mind that Ebrake kicks on fast, and when it does, you temporarily have no control. I do 100% believe that if it didn't hit that bush and the Ebrake kicked on, what would have then happened was return to home would have kicked on, it would have gone up high enough for my signal to connect again, and then I could have manually taken back over. So in no way do I think this Ebrake system is a bad thing. I think you just need to be aware of how it works when the goggles disrupt or completely shut off. Thanks again for watching and enjoy the crash.